But let's talk about what happened today with Peter Dutton on radio. A pretty raw moment, as it was with Susan Lamb in the Parliament yesterday. And as I said at the start of the show, I can be pretty tough on pollies, but you know, you also have to say when they get it right and people are this emotional in their response, it's worth showing you.
I hadn't thanked him before, but I just wanted to know that we were grateful for his immediate actions to help on that day.
Good on you, mate. Well done, Steve.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Not much left to say in relation to that, Minister. You deserve our congratulations, but I mean, honestly, Cole Miller died after a one-punch attack, for people that do remember it, Fortitude Valley, January 3, 2016.
Well, anyway, it's an emotional thing because it really is.
It's heartbreaking.
It is this thing where I wanted to ask all of you, do you have examples of this in your career that you can remember when you fought for something, you got something done, and there just was a very human reaction to what had happened? When somebody often comes, obviously, sometimes to you guys as the ombudsman of last resort, they always say, write to your local MP, all the rest of it here. Senator Hume, I'll start with you. What has been that moment for you that Peter Dutton had today on TV? Yeah, look, I mean, I've had a couple of those, and they are, you know, they're profoundly moving and very memorable, particularly surrounding NDIS issues. I think, you know, I would imagine that all of us have had those, you know, very similar sorts of issues. I thought that Peter Dutton's response was an extraordinary, you know, sign of humanity in a really tough role that is often very thankless. And he has been absolutely right with his, you know, deportation of criminals, you know, taking a hard line on that particular stance. You know, I take my hat off to him. It's a really tough gig, and he gets criticised from all sorts of different directions for it. But you know, it's fantastic that he received that thank you and that recognition, and that he responded in that incredibly emotional way. I agree, Senator McAllister. Some people will be annoyed that I'm letting politicians tell good stories, but why not? Occasionally, let's humanise the business. What was it for you?
A bit like Jane, actually. Jane prompted me to recall a time quite a long time ago, actually, when I did deal with a group of carers, actually, people caring for people with significant disabilities or chronic illnesses, and I worked with them over a long time. They're pretty angry when I first met them, but I gained their trust over time, and they came to see, I think, that I was someone who was actually in their corner. And I think turning people around when they approach politics, they're angry, they don't expect anything from you, they just want to yell, but by the end of it, you have their confidence. That means a great deal to me.
David, what about you?
Yes, every now and then somebody comes up to me and says, if it wasn't for you, I would have given up on politics, left the country, done something like that. One that I particularly treasure is a bit different. A guy came up to me at one of the big firearms shows down in Melbourne and said, I'm gay, but I'm also a shooter, and I've been ostracised by both sides of that, and you stood up for both of us, or both sides of it. And he said, you know, I was feeling really depressed and miserable and all that sort of thing. And there you were standing up for me on both issues, and you gave me, you know, the strength to sort of get on and say, OK, it's not all bad. It was quite moving. Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool. And by the way, you'll get a teary phone call from me if you can convince the big boys to balance the budget and make it legal that they must balance the budget. I will be